Hello and namaskar. Very good evening. I am Shilpa from shiksha.com, moderator for this session. We are surrounded with data everywhere, right? But with data patterns and trends, a lot of information can be fetched. But who does all of it with so much of data? We have professionals like data scientists, data analysts, and data engineers. So let's understand each one of them one by one, because today we are going to discuss about data scientist versus data analyst versus data engineer. So just give me a minute and let me add a question related to data science. So meanwhile, if you have any questions related to our today's topic of discussion, then you can post either in the Q&A box or in the comment section, and I will try my level best to get it all answered by our today's expert. So here he is. We have Ankit with us, by profession a data scientist at Walmart Global Tech India. I heartily welcome you.
Hi all. Thank you for having me. So to give a background about me, I'm working with in the and Walmart is my third company. So before this, I was based out of Malaysia and was working for Experian, wherein the domain which I was working for was credit risk, and it was around senior data modeling kind of a role. So where we used to generate scorecards and determine the risk factors for essentially giving the lendings. So before that, again, I was working close to 3 years with EXL, and then and I graduated from IIT Kanpur back in 2016. So yeah, that is my educational background and somewhat of the things that I've done so far. But yeah, so the I would say the most interesting part about my job is that the domains that I've currently explored as such in close to 7 years, I've explored, I would say, close to seven fields. One is like, for example, healthcare domain, then sports analytics as a domain, then credit risk as a domain, then telecom as a domain. So yeah, I feel data science allows you to explore a lot of domains in general. Yeah. So to give an idea of what I'm doing. Yeah. So should we get started with the session on exactly?
Yes, Ankit, we have already started the session,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised. Like, IITians are the people who just, opt for the like core jobs, but you have traveled like this zigzag pattern, and then you just become a data scientist. Like, how and why? Why you just wanted to be just data scientist?
Yeah. So I chemical engineer in like while I was studying in my back in my background in my BTech. But like eventually in my second year onwards, I decided to take up a few optional courses like data mining, then machine learning. Then I took up regression basics, and then I delved a bit more into this particular field and even did my internship there after my second year. So that gave me an exposure to this field, which I felt was I felt like it had more to offer in terms of the domains that I get to explore. And given the sort of person I am, I get bored easily. Like if I'm working on a given domain for a very long duration, then probably I need to have a change in the problem statements, and essentially new challenges is what motivates me to work more and keeps me engaged, I would say. So yeah, that is one of the main or primary reasons as to why I chose this particular field, because it has diverse, I would say, like implications in terms of the fields you can touch upon, and also given the fact that, for example, given that I'm a data scientist, I've backed myself via data. So like the in general in India itself, if you see from the journey from 2015 to 2022, the percentage of penetration in terms of the data usage has increased like from 7 GB per year to per user for a given month to almost 17 to 18 GB. So that essentially shows how much data is prevalent in nowadays in today's, I would say, world. So yeah, that is one of the reasons why I opted for this particular field, because I would get to explore a lot of opportunities in terms of India as a market. Also, if you see, it has like a lot of I would say variety of data. It's unstructured in nature, and you get to work upon this on a daily basis. So yeah, that is something cool, I feel.
So, Ankit, I was reading a few articles and there I just got to know about the three terms, which I already told in the introduction part, that today we are going to discuss about data scientists versus data analysts versus data engineers. So, if you could just, share your insight on what their roles and responsibilities are like, what their salary range is like, about the job outlook, if you could just discuss about
Yeah,
that.
sure. So data analyst, I believe, is the starting like position which usually people join, freshers who do not have that much, I would say, computer science based background, but they want to essentially explore more into the logical portion of the things. So it's more business driven. Like you have to draw insights out of the data, and it's more around exploration point of view. And like obviously you need to use predefined, I would say, predefined packages, so that is essentially imported, and you are trying to apply the data science directly, but you do not know exactly how much of, like, for example, if you go into technical details, how exactly loss functions and all those can be tweaked. Those details is something which is abstracted from you as a data analyst. So the expectation is slightly less from a data analyst in terms of they should be able to obviously use scripting languages like Python, and also query at a very basic level. For example, if there's a data in a structured fashion, they should be able to pull it. So those kind of tasks is something which I think as a data analyst you are expected to know. And apart from that, data visualization side, and also using Microsoft Excel as a tool to showcase your results is what is expected out of a data analyst, I feel. But as a data engineer, there's a different, I would say, ball game. So it's around, I would say, there is, like, if you want to launch a product and you want to have a data pipeline in place, and you have data coming in from various sources which are structured as well as unstructured in format. So by unstructured, I mean, for example, not in a very tabular format, or it has not been maintained that well, and the entries are not in a very orderly fashion. So there can be also video based data. So that is also again some sort of a unstructured data which can be which needs to be manipulated based on the needs of the team or whichever product the person is trying to build. So yeah, so that is something I would say data engineer comes into play. So he primarily delves around the data wrangling portion of the things and trying to create the data in a very in a structured manner, so that the data analyst, or let's the data scientist, can generate their insights or build their models on top of this particular data, and then give the insights to the business folk. So that is, I would say, the role of a data engineer. So yeah, so I have covered two, data analyst and data engineer. So third I would say I would be covering is data scientist, which currently I am working as. So data scientist, I believe, is like the connecting layer between data engineers and the business folks, and also they have slightly more technical advantage compared to a data analyst in terms of so you are supposed to write APIs, and you should have an idea of deployment in as a data scientist, and you should be aware of as to how exactly your solution would reach the final stage, right? So let's say if you build any model which is like trying to predict let's say the credit score of a person, so you want to have this particular solution in deployment and accessible by a lot of users. So therein comes the part of data engineer, who essentially wrangles the data and generates like the pipeline for the data to flow in a timely fashion in a given time. That data should come to the data scientist's model, and that model should integrate with your pipeline of data and then essentially generate the results. So this understanding is something which is slightly more advanced when it comes to like a data analyst role, but as a data scientist you should be aware of these portion of the things. Other than that, you should obviously be having a knack of business understanding of that domain, so that you can essentially generate those features or essentially variables you are trying to create in such a fashion that that can be leveraged by the business folks. So yeah, that I would say is like the role of a data scientist. Mhm.
So, Ankit, though I have understood the things you have shared about the engineers, analysts, and scientists in bits and pieces because you just use some technical words as well. But
Mhm,
I hope you can see one of the question has been asked by Ipshita Yadav. I have pinned it.
mhm,
I'll read it for everyone.
mhm.
Sir, I will graduate from mathematics honors in 2023. Could you please suggest if I should go for MSc in statistics or data science?
So, maths and India, right? It depends on the curriculum and also the level you want to get into. For example, more maths or stats based course would be obviously to go for a statistics based course. But from a job perspective, data science is something which I believe would give you a more employable options. But you should take it with a pinch of salt. But data science has a lot of coding involved, so expectation would be you should know some of computer science, and essentially it is a step above computer science, I would say. So it's expected that you need to know data structures and algorithm before proceeding to do data science as a master's. So I believe, given that your current skill sets, you can better like do a better job at statistics. But in case you want to get into data science and you actually like data science as a field, then probably do a few more courses online and then go for a master's degree, so that it becomes very challenging later. Otherwise, I feel. This is my opinion, but yeah, it depends. From,
Right. So I mean, you just mean to say that first she has to find her interest and then accordingly, if she just
no, no, I am suggesting if she wants to get into data science, she needs to do
hmm,
some pre-courses, like for example, data because computer science is something which math honors. So you should have that much of delving into data science. It becomes difficult.
okay. And I hope that answers the Ipshita's Yadav question. And moving again to the our part of discussion where we were discussing about the data engineers, data analysts, and data scientists, their roles and responsibilities. So if I'll talk about, is there any similarity between all three of them? Is there any similarity?
So so as a like data scientist and data analyst, you need to have a understanding of model development. For example, any machine learning based model that you're trying to develop, both of these folks should have that understanding that how exactly it works. And in an abstracted fashion, both can use the same sort of techniques. But in case you want to go a step deeper and want to actually deploy the solution, there comes the role of a data scientist more. But as a data analyst, I believe in consulting world and other domains. Like in case it depends on the company to company. If it's a product based company, then it would be more around deploying the solution, and it would be more data science oriented. But it's like a consulting company wherein you are given a data and you just have to give some insights. So then data analysts can do almost the same kind of job which data science folks are doing. And yeah, it's
Uh,
to answer the question. Yeah, it is based on Python is one of the scripting languages used. Apart from that, there is PySpark.
Ankit, your voice is chipping in between.
Mhm. Is it better?
Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Python is one of the tools. Python is one of the tools which is used. Apart from that, there's PySpark used for larger data size, since the volume of data in cannot be directly handled through Python. But yeah, it's uh, similar on a similar uh, note.
Next up, I just want to share this information with everybody who has joined just now. Today, we are just discussing everything about data science and particularly about the data scientist versus data analyst versus data engineer. So, if you have any question, अगर आपके कुछ questions हैं, आप पूछना चाहते हैं, we have an expert here who himself is a data scientist. We have Ankit with us. You can ask him directly here, either by posting in the comment section or in the Q&A box. Okay, moving ahead. If I'll just talk about, you have mentioned while you were discussing about this differences and the similarities, you were saying one can pursue courses. Even you suggested to Ipshita,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
courses part.
Yes.
So,
So
yeah. So, what could be the basic educational criteria to become either the scientist or analyst or engineers? Is again there's any difference?
So usually data analysts, data scientists usually have like 2 to 3 years of experience, and after that you become like a data scientist post working as a data analyst and having like a computer science background. So within job also you can switch, or you can directly apply post you have 2 to 3 years of experience. So and yeah, obviously if you have done a master's in data science, you can opt for a data science based job.
So, did you do a master's or something like that? How did you started your data science wala thing? Like, did you do any internship or any coursework or something like that?
Yeah. So from my perspective, so the first internship that I did was in the field of data analytics in my second year of college, that is in 2014. So 2014, I did my first internship. Then post that, around 2016, the work I was doing was around like convolutional neural network, which is like a data science field based on image data. So that had done with University of Central Florida. It was in US. So that was close to 3 months. Post that, like I have been working as a, like I would say, consultant role initially, which involves a lot of data analyst roles based qualities, and other than that, obviously the business side of things. Then after having close to 5 years of experience, I decided to move into the data science role in a full scale. So now I've been working with Walmart since last 2 years. So before this, I had the knowledge of developing a model and how exactly you can essentially do supervised, unsupervised learning, and all those other things which you need to know as a data scientist. And apart from that, I did a lot of courses on, I would say, Coursera, and also some on EDX. So I've taken take post my joining Walmart, I have also taken up a dual masters, online masters degree. So now I've completed 1 year of masters with UT Austin, Texas Austin. So that is also going on parallelly. So yeah, that is also something which I wanted to do, since I wanted to have a degree in data science, given that I'm working in data science, and uh, to be up to date with whatever is the current norm in terms of NLP, deep learning networks, and all those other, I would say, like well-known techniques which are there in market currently, also which are undergoing a lot of research work.
So, Ankit, if I'll talk about, let's say, if I'm a college student and I want to build my career in the field of data science, what kind of certificate course or any other kind of course? Because even you have done some courses online. So, what kind of courses I should pursue or can do, which can help me to build my career further?
So obviously, for example, let's say if you want to do like you want to become a data scientist or data analyst, that depends. So if you want to become a data analyst, you need to have basic stats courses done. Then you should have basics of Python, scripting language, then Excel based basic understanding of Excel, and then you will get job. And then within that job, you will learn as you work. Other than that, in case you want to get into data science as a course, as a this thing, you can take up a lot of in Coursera. You have supervised learning courses, then unsupervised learning based courses. Then you have very specific courses like time series forecasting based courses. Then there is data camp. So that also allows you to learn a lot of specific things that you want to learn. For example, let's say if you want to get into natural language as a domain. So it is about essentially having the text based data parsed, and essentially drawing insights out of those kind of a data set. So yeah, so you can actually deep dive into specific topics if you want to, if you have that opportunity to work on that. So I believe in practicing what you basically are doing via course. So in case you take up any course, try to solve the problem statements. For example, there are open source like challenges which are posted. For example, Kaggle is one of the online platforms wherein they host a lot of data science based competition, where when you get to compete with like the best people out there, and then you obviously have a better chance of learning through practice. In case you want to get into this field, then obviously you need to have a good GitHub profile and all those other things, so that essentially you get noticed in a better fashion. Or yeah, that is one of the things.
I have one follow-up question to ask, Ankit. Does company, while you just appear in interview, do they consider this online certification?
Yeah, it's as good as a degree. In only difference is that like go for a foreign university and they give you visa for once you join, you give a visa post the so hence it becomes easier there. Other than that, I feel it's because you're completing all the courses there and almost the similar professors are teaching you.
The Shield, I'll ask your question next to this question. And one question I want to ask you, Ankit, is I was reading it somewhere that even non-tech people can become data scientists.
Mhm.
And if they want, they can become data analysts. So, not the data engineer, for that we require some technical knowledge. This is what I was reading in few of the articles online.
Mhm.
So, I'm just asking you, is it possible for the non-tech people to become any two of them, either analyst or
Yeah,
a scientist?
data non-technical because a lot of coding is not involved. But when it comes to coding, obviously you can learn. Like it's not something which is not easily available. Like you can check out resources online which are very, I would say, easily available for everyone to learn. So yeah, it's something which like if you have interest in that particular field and you like that field, then obviously you can take that additional effort, and learn the things that are actually needed to excel in this particular field. Yeah. So you can like be non-technical. For example, was from a civil engineering background, right? So I had to do specific this data science, uh, like coding basis part of competition. Essentially,
Okay.
develop that.
Okay. So Ankit, if I'll just ask you, for learning a programming language or the programming skills that couldn't happen in a day,
Obviously,
right? So yes, so उसको सीखने में आपको कितना time लगा, and वो सीखने के बाद भी as being a novice in the field of programming, when a company start considering your profile for a particular designation, or I think अगर वो नहीं है तो फिर कंपनी या तो इंटर्नशिप अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफर करती है या तो ट्रेनिंग फॉर अप्रेंटिस. Is it something like that?
like it depends on which company you're applying for. For example, multi-corporational companies that well established, they tend to prefer people who have a lot of experience. And start on the other hand, they you in the role of data science, they are doing hands-on work there. That is also which you can do in case you want to get. But again, there is a lot of pressure, but that is something which you have to do and you want to learn fast.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, it's something which non-technical are very
Hmm.
important.
Okay. Ankit, just for your information, your audio is chipping again.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, I'll just read a question the Shield 0786 wants to ask you. What are exactly the career opportunity after becoming data scientist? Any
Yeah. So,
insight?
so for example, like as a main data is very vast. So there, is it better now? My voice. Yeah. So as a data science, I feel there are a lot of domains. For example, like let's say if you want to get into natural language processing, so there is a lot of text-based data that comes in, and in case you want to build products, so you, as a like data science centric solutions are also coming to market, which are uh, pretty useful and I would say niche in nature. So you can also get into product building based on data science solutions, and problem statements as such are very diverse. So you get to work on, for example, let's say you want to develop a product which is in healthcare industry. You want to learn something like build a diagnosis tool that essentially allows labs or technicians to detect cancer. So those kind of problem statements also you can solve via data science, and also build it in a scalable fashion. So as a product, if you can deploy it, so it becomes something which that is like the next step, building product using data science, so it will be more reusable in nature. So yeah, that could be one of the next steps as a data scientist, I believe.
Thank you, Ankit, for answering that. Next up, we have a question again from Ipshita. Please suggest colleges and entrance for data science.
Is it?
I think she's asking about the entrance examinations she can appear in to just make her career in the field of data science. And obviously, that includes colleges and universities.
So is it for undergrad or postgrad? Like in case it's for undergrad, I would suggest based degree and then data science based sector.
Okay. If you can be just specific and post again your question, whether you want to pursue the PG courses or the UG courses, that would be easier for Ankit to answer your question. Next up, we have a question from the Shield. Which is the best platform to learn? Is
Like
it, I think, like programming language?
like if you want to learn something specific about data science, only one of the two, like for example, if you want to deep dive into some particular field, then data camp gives you a very naive way of explaining things, so it helps you understand quicker. But obviously if you want to deep dive into it, then you have to do a lot more courses. For example, edx, Coursera, they have very specialized courses by different professors in this field. So yeah, so like all there are a lot of platforms as such, like edx, Coursera, then DataCamp. So these three is something which I felt were helpful for me, but yeah, there could be more.
Ankit, again coming back to Ipshita Yadav's question, she had asked about please suggest some colleges and the entrance examination for data science. That's for the postgrad.
Okay, so for postgrad, is she the one, she had asked for a bachelor in mathematics and post that she wanted to do something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, in case you want to, so the courses as such in US based college, in US colleges, I would say Georgia Tech, then this thing UT Austin, then Carnegie Mellon, then Columbia University. So there are a lot of good colleges out there for data science. So ideally, I would suggest to to take a course in computer science and specialize in data science as a field. So that gives you more comprehensive hold over data science as a field.
Next up, I want to ask, being a student, I just want to ask this question to you. Let's say if I'm a technical person, either I can just go for this data engineer thing or for the data scientist, like even you are a data scientist. And even I have seen in the IITs, people are being placed as data analysts too.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is a sense of perplexion. How can I decide what I just want to be?
Mm-hmm.
How to decide which field is right for me?
So until so, I believe that you need to practice. For example, let's say if you take part in open competitions hosted by different companies, hackathons, and also Kaggle, that will give you a flavor of how this industry works. And in case you feel that that is something which energizes you and actually motivates you to work, then I think that is like the field for you. Otherwise, you can work as an intern and explore the opportunity out there and then decide, okay, if it works, then great. Otherwise, you can move on and go to the next particular field that you want to try out. It's, I think, true for any field as such. So yeah.
Ankit, so for those recent graduates who are just looking for the job in the field of data scientist, what are the hiring companies in India and abroad? If you could just share your insight on this.
So there are a lot of so currently in India, like in US and India as well. So Walmart is one of them. Google obviously is there. Although there is a recession period going on in US, I feel, but still, those companies are out there. Microsoft is there. Then there is so these are the big players, and then there is a lot of startups based on AI also coming up in India, which are also giving a very good salary and also, I would say, good exposure to data science as a field. Yeah.
Uh, Actually, many students are curious, and even I'm curious to know what sort of questions are being asked, because all the company we named are quite a big company. So how to just prepare ourselves to appear in an interview? And also, if I am applying for the post of data scientist or either engineer or analyst, how should I prepare my job profile, let's say on LinkedIn or something on such platform? How should I prepare?
So it all boils down to how confident you are, and in terms of, let's say if you have learned a few courses, you should have an in-depth understanding and basic level understanding at least. So all these companies do not go for very advanced level questions. Obviously they don't expect you to know from scratch, uh, but in case you are saying that you have worked on a certain topic, then obviously they expect that you know that at least inside out. And apart from that, like you need to practice, obviously, right? Like data structures and algorithm is one of the courses which I believe gives you that logical mindset for solving different kind of problem statements. So yeah, that is one of the courses. Other than that, you can from a data science perspective, all those machine learning and stats based courses which are there, you need to have an understanding of the basics and how those fundamentals are involved in like making that, taking it to that advanced level. So yeah, you need to have an understanding of basics first and then move the way up. So yeah, basics should be something which is clear, that is expected from any company. Yeah, other than that, I feel it's more about how like motivated you are and how well like how you answer the questions, and it's about how you portray yourself, right? Yeah, it's all about that.
And to everybody, we are just winding up this session in the next 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to post. And next up with this, let's take few more questions, Ankit.
Mhm.
What would be the best option to start with, R or Python or SQL?
So, like SQL and Python is something which I would advise, because, like generally Python is something which can cater to a lot of like nature of data. It can cater to image-based data, video-based data, whereas R is something which is better with structured data. And like generally in current industry, more research-based folks use R, but not that much in the industry, because Python is something which is more fast paced and can handle more variety of data. And SQL is something which I believe is the basic level of querying any data. So you need to have an understanding of that, irrespective of if you are a data analyst, data scientist, or a data engineer. So all three have an understanding of SQL or and Python also, in fact.
And I have taken the last question of this session. Sir, correct me if I'm wrong. Data science as a course is more comprehensive if I study from abroad than in India.
It's I think correct notion. It's not necessary, because currently like a lot of colleges such as I even IITs have a like specific courses open in terms of data science, and they are pretty like competent in terms of the curriculum when compared to abroad. Only thing is, usually people, why they prefer to go abroad is they get that visa and they have that opportunity to work out of there. So in case you have that mindset that you want to work outside and not in India, then I feel that would be something which would be helpful. And other than that, even ISI and like there are a lot of like colleges in India which are putting up really good courses out there. Yeah.
So, Ankit, it's time for us to wrap up our session for today. And we are not leaving you like this. We like to have some concluding words from you where you can just include tips for the students who are targeting to be a data scientist in future.
So yeah, as a like I would say, firstly concentrate on your basics. Like make sure that you're good with stats and have that logical mindset. So given any problem statement, you should be able to logically answer that. Like whatever you are thinking, you should be able to think out loud and mention it as steps, so that the like the interviewer or in general whomever you are trying to convince gets convinced. So that is, I think, true for any field. And other than that, I think whatever courses you're taking, learn from a practical mindset and not from the mindset that you just have to complete the course. Yeah.
And with this, thank you so much, Ankit, for sharing a lot of information about data science in very less time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope it helps.
And thank you. Yes, it certainly will help because people are already saying thank you to you. And thank you for all the people for joining this session. And with this, I'm Shilpa signing off. Till then, take care and keep dreaming high. Bye bye.
Please like and share this video and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.